The NFL draft is upon us. Now, let's get started with another mock draft done by an obnoxious white guy who has a way too high sense of self-importance. I'm talking about me. Which players will NFL teams select in this upcoming draft? I'm here to predict. After going through version after version after version, I finally settled on a version that makes me not want to throw up. And I know trade-ups are impossible to predict, but allegedly this round is supposed to be chock full of them. So I did one trade-up prediction. So here goes the round one mock, but first, my grand entrance. No, that's not right. Better. With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders will select Carson Beck, quarterback, Miami, Florida. Carson Beck is a pro.
Let's take this seriously.
All right, fine. With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders will select Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana. This pick is more set in stone than the Raiders' round 4 pick on insert speedy receiver with penises for hands here. Fernando Mendoza is going first overall. And since the will he pull an Eli conversation is a yearly inevitability, people will encourage that possibility. But let's be real, the only way Fernando Mendoza pulls an Eli is if he beats his boss Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice. But Mendoza to the Raiders is happening. The least Las Vegas person of all time will begin his career in Las Vegas, and the second least Las Vegas person of all time will be mentoring him. The Raiders limped through a year of Geno Smith and Pete Carroll, and now they have Clint Kubiak, Max Crosby, and the future of their organization coming in. If upper management can get their heads screwed on straight, the future will be bright, and someday the Raiders could be flippin' champs too. With the second pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets will select Arvell Reese, linebacker, Ohio State. There's a major debate about which player the Jets are going to ruin, Arvell Reese or David Bailey. They could go with the Buckeye linebacker or the Texas Tech edge rusher. You could honestly flip a coin. I think the edge goes to Arvell Reese here. And not because I think he's better or Mel Kiper told me to put him here or because his agent paid me to put him there or... Actually, I lied. His agent just paid me. I actually think it's because Arvell Reese is the younger prospect, whose scouting report has him mirroring one of the best current players in the NFL in Micah Parsons. Arvell Reese is 21, and David Bailey is 23. The Jets did just trade away Jermaine Johnson, and I see Arvell as a very serviceable Reese placement. The Jets badly need to improve their defense after infamously going an entire season without an interception, even with the golden opportunity to do so against Mitch Trubisky in Week 18. Aaron Glenn's ass is on the line, even after only one season on the job, and Arvell Reese is a day one starter. With the third pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals will select Jeremiah Love, running back, Notre Dame. There's reportedly a strong internal push for the Cardinals to draft the running back from Notre Dame. He is the unquestioned best running back in this class. So much so that the second best running back prospect in this class is Jeremiah Love's own backup. That's how much of a drop-off there is from him. There's no denying Jeremiah Love's talent. He had just under 2,500 rushing yards and 40 all-purpose touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. He's been compared to Reggie Bush because of his elusiveness, home run ability, and DMs from Kim Kardashian. He also might be my high-functioning autism brother in Christ, and I have to stand my fellow Tizzy boys. There's no denying the Cardinals' need for a running back. Their current depth chart of James Conner and Tyler Algier does not inspire much confidence. In 2025, they had the second fewest rushing yards in the NFL and the second fewest touchdowns in the NFL. They could have had double-digit touchdowns had Amari DiMercato not done the thing on the 1-yard line. Jeremiah Love would be an excellent boost in morale for a Cardinals fan base that badly needs it. That is, unless they trade back, which is also entirely possible. With the fourth pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans will select David Bailey, edge rusher, Texas Tech. David Bailey is considered the best player at the most premier position in this draft. He's coming off a 2025 season where he recorded 14.5 sacks, 19.5 tackles for loss, and had the highest PFF grade among all edge rushers with 93.3. If Jeremiah Love isn't there and they don't trade back, David Bailey might be a very solid choice here. That is, unless dem boys trade up and make a move for David Bailey, which would vault them from a sub-500 team to a just around 500 team. With the 5th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants will select Caleb Downs, safety, Ohio State. John Harbaugh has spent this entire offseason bringing his Ravens system from Baltimore to New Jersey. So much so, he hired his former team's punter. You know you want to be in a familiar spot when you need your "we send football to other team because we give up" player to survive. There is one piece of John Harbaugh's former Ravens system missing in New York, and that is his Kyle Hamilton. Caleb Downs is exactly that player. He has a massively high IQ on the football field. Caleb Downs has the potential to start right away alongside Javon Holland and instantly improve one of the NFL's most disappointing defenses from a season ago. With the 6th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns will trade their pick to the Dallas Cowboys, who will select Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State. Sonny Styles was a hard player to predict. Could the Giants draft him at 5? Could the Cowboys trade up and get him at 6 or whatever? Is he how your grandfather talks about that guy from One Direction? These are the questions people want to know, America. Jerry Jones said a couple things when talking about trading Micah Parsons. We gotta stop the run, and we could get extra pieces. Remember the Herschel Walker trade? Yawn. Now that he's got the 12th and the 20th pick as resources, he could trade up into the top 6, potentially get David Bailey, or in this scenario, Sonny Styles. Now for this trade, I'm too lazy to make my own. The Dallas Cowboys give up the 12th pick and the 20th pick to the Browns, who will give them their 1st and 2nd round picks, meaning 6 and 39. And after swinging and missing on Logan Wilson, Jerry Jones is going to try again and get the best linebacker in this draft class in Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles was a freak athlete at the Underwear Olympics, but the general consensus is that he could use a bit of coaching. He does strike me as a boom or bust type player, but if he booms, Dallas is going to be in phenomenal shape. With the 7th pick in the 2027 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders will select Mansour Delane, cornerback, LSU. Mansour Delane is actually a player I would have loved for the Bengals at 10. After the Marshawn Lattimore experiment flopped, why not go for another player who would instantly improve their secondary? Mansour Delane excels at the very basics of the position. He's tight in man coverage, he plays the game with a smart approach, and he's fast as boy. Very few weaknesses overall. The Commanders' defense was dreadful last year as they gave up the most passing yards in the NFL, and many people see Mansour Delane as a day 1 starter. With the 8th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints will select Carnell Tate, wide receiver, Ohio State. There's a lot of speculation that the Saints are trying to bring in Tyler Shuck's college receiver, Chris Bell, but he would be a severe reach at 8th overall. All parties want to make that work, but is he within the Saints' reach in round 2? If he isn't, Kellen Moore and company would have the opportunity to give Tyler Shuck a really fun weapon in Carnell Tate, who can instantly be paired with fellow Buckeye Chris Olave. With the 9th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs will select Reuben Bain Jr., edge rusher, Miami, Florida. A lot of different directions the Chiefs could go, but they have 2 first-round picks. They could take a top cornerback to replace Trent McDuffie. They also could take a right tackle like Francis Mauigoa, the Samoan steamroller, to replace Jawan Taylor, the Florida false starter. However, reports are that they are looking for a premier edge rusher, and Bain is one of the top guys in this class. He's a strong, balanced edge rusher, and he was phenomenal in the movie Beverly Hills Cop. There's also a chance he falls because of the driving incident and because of his short arms, but what do I know? I'm just a guy. With the 10th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals will select Dexter Lawrence, defensive tackle, Clemson. Dexter Lawrence is... wait a minute. Dexter Lawrence. He plays for the Giants. He wanted to trade... What? Excuse me while I have a moment. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. Thank you for your time. Before I get to the rest of my mock draft, let me talk about the trade that made me hit the Sexy Dexy at least 30 times on Saturday night. The Giants traded Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals for the 10th overall pick, and I think it's a win-win trade. Why? The Bengals and Giants have different Super Bowl windows. The Giants, they have a good young core. They could be a really good team in about 2 to 3 years. Bengals, their Super Bowl window is right the now. A legit talent at a position of need is a major needle mover, and I am all for it. I know people are bummed that the Bengals don't get a lottery ticket for a draft pick, but this draft class is kinda mid. As a Bengals fan, I would much rather have one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL than the sixth best defensive prospect in a mediocre draft. There are some Bengals fans who wanted us to bring DJ Reader back, and now we have a better and younger DJ Reader. Even if he had a statistical down year, he's an interior defensive lineman who is still an absolute problem. If he can generate consistent pressure and get extra attention from offensive linemen, that is a defensive coordinator's best friend. As a result of the acquisition, white dudes hitting the Sexy Dexy has become Cincinnati's newest, most popular form of cultural appropriation. He's under team control through 2028. I unironically think of the Bengals as Super Bowl contenders, and I can't wait for that to blow up in my face. So who could the Giants take? With the 10th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Makai Lemon, wide receiver, USC. Makai Lemon, who looks like Diana Rossini after Mike Vrabel allows a woman to ask the first question at a press conference, had an impeccable tape at USC. He modeled his game after another USC Trojan, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and his combine press conference mirrored Marilyn Monroe singing "Happy Birthday, Mr. President." Now the Giants have 2 top 10 draft picks, which they would never f*** up. Ever. Good job. Makai Lemon fits the mold of what they need. He's a slot receiver with good hands. Malik Neighbors should be healthy and ready to go by 2026. So pairing Malik Neighbors and Makai Lemon to go along with the absolute buddy comedy movie that is Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo would go a long, long way for this offense. With the 11th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins will select Vega Ioane, offensive guard, Penn State. I was worried about pronunciation, but thanks to a simple Google search, that worry lasted about 5 seconds. Jonas Avainea was one of the worst offensive linemen in the league last season, and Vega Ioane primarily played left guard in college, which could immediately give Savainea a run for his money. Ioane is the best pure guard in this draft class, and assuming they go with a lineman here, they could go receiver at 30. Stay tuned for that. Now, before I talk about the player that I think is the biggest bust in this class, if you like what you've seen so far, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. I've had a lot of new subscribers of late. I officially got monetized. I have officially made my first little bit of money on YouTube. I am so stoked. Let's keep it going. Long forms are coming. Short forms are coming next season. I can't wait to get it all underway. But for now, back to the video. With the 12th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns will select Caden Proctor, offensive tackle, Alabama. Word on the street is that the Browns are enamored with Caden Proctor, and a random team falling in love with an Alabama offensive lineman is one of the draft's most beloved traditions. Now, why is that? Proctor is gigantic. He's tall, weighs 369 pounds, and is hard to get around if he gets his hands on you. He's really good on paper, though there are a lot of concerns about how he himself will translate to the NFL. His work ethic and conditioning are reportedly subpar, and the Browns have never and would never draft a player like that, right? Right? Oh boy. With the 13th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams will select Francis Mauigoa, offensive tackle, Miami. Francis Mauigoa is a player who will absolutely, positively not fall lower than this in the draft. He could even go as high as 3 to the Cardinals. He's even got a good chance to be a top 10 pick, but for now I have him at 13 to the Rams. Longtime right tackle Rob Havenstein retired, and the Rams need to replace him and keep Matthew Stafford upright, especially since he's on the brink of a new contract. There are some concerns about Mauigoa having a herniated disc in his back, which could cause him to fall, but he has good size, strength, and most importantly, apparently, good arm length. With the 14th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens will select Spencer Fano, offensive tackle, Utah. This is a guy I've loved since last year. He's big, he's strong, and he's quick. He's a guy I wanted on the Bengals for a while before I discovered that for once, our offensive line isn't total cheeks. GM Eric DaCosta called him a tough athlete who can play anywhere on the line. The Ravens rely heavily on the run game with Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Fano would be an instant upgrade. He's a bit of a raw prospect as of now, but he could develop into the best tackle in this class if utilized correctly. It makes him a perfect fit for Baltimore. With the 15th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will select Keldrick Falk, edge rusher, Auburn. Keldrick Falk feels like a safe pick here, which is a subtle way of saying he feels like a boring pick here. Falk ranked 20th in college football among edge rushers with an 85.5 run defense PFF grade and has a strong and physical frame. He's not the most dominant pass rusher, but he has a good motor that, if coached properly in the pass rush game, could turn him into a very complete player. Todd Bowles is coaching for his job, and Keldrick Falk is a balanced player who can start on day one. With the 16th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets will select Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State. Jordan Tyson is doing what every receiver tries to do before the draft, posting highlight reels to get his stock up. Whether it works or not is entirely up to interpretation, but people are certainly taking the bait. The Jets need help in their passing game, and they likely will need help in their passing game until the end of time. Jordan Tyson is also a strong route runner, which will come in handy every time he has to chase down a DB who just picked off Geno Smith. Jordan Tyson does have some injury concerns, but he could end up as the best receiver in this draft class if he stays healthy. With the 17th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions will select Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle, Georgia. Monroe Freeling, who sounds like your hometown's first ever mayor, has a chance to go much higher than 17, but the Lions badly need offensive help, particularly after watching Taylor Decker leave. Freeling isn't the most powerful prospect, but he's agile, he's improved with experience, and has been seen to rise up draft boards of late. The Lions should be elated if he falls this far. With the 18th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings will select Dylan Thieneman, safety, Oregon. Right here it just says Harrison Smith replacement. Can that be enough?
Yeah, you're good.
Sweet. With the 19th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers will select Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, Oregon. Every year seems like there's that tight end that everyone just falls in love with. One year it's Kyle Pitts, another year it's Brock Bowers, other years it's Kyle Brady for some damn reason. This year that guy is Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon, and the Panthers are seeming to be the best fit for him. He's unbelievable as a pass catcher, a mismatch weapon, and an above-average blocker. Nobody's really losing sleep over Jatavion Sanders, but Kenyon Sadiq would give Bryce Young an outstanding second option. After their projected by me trade with Dallas at the 20th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns will select Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver, Indiana. The Browns badly need to improve their passing attack in ways besides hiring #Coach Prime to be their #Head Coach Prime. They have used Jerry Jeudy as their wide receiver 1 on purpose, and that's not sustainable. That's where they bring in the guy who made arguably the best and most pivotal catch of the 2025 college football season, Indiana wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr. He's a yak machine, and he also has impeccable football IQ, which may actually prevent him from answering the Browns' phone call on draft night. With the 21st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers will select Denzel Boston, wide receiver, Washington. The Steelers are currently dealing with an Aaron Rodgers problem. He's following in Brett Favre's footsteps once again by being the least decisive person of all time about retirement. They won't find out about his status for 2026 until after the draft, which is annoying. I mean, I'm cool with it. I'm just sure the Steelers can't be too thrilled. The Steelers right now are having a who should we draft between a wide receiver and an offensive line debate, which ruined my sanity the year Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell both came out of college. Denzel Boston, no relation to David Boston, is a big and tall receiver. He's a good contested catch weapon who doesn't have blazing speed, but he makes up for it by not throwing haymakers at a practice dummy that he thinks just talk to him. I think of Denzel Boston as a wild card for this draft, but for now I have him in round 1 to the Steelers. With the 22nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers will select TJ Parker, edge rusher, Clemson. The Chargers were above average in terms of rushing the passer last year, but now they need to replace Odafe Oweh, who bounced for Washington, and that oh-so-beautiful 9-figure contract. Their offensive line is going to get a major boost with their 2 returning starting tackles. However, there's a severe lack of depth in their defensive line, and TJ Parker won a lot of people over at the Senior Bowl. Feels like a safe pick for the Chargers. With the 23rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles will select Akeem Mesidor, edge rusher, Miami. Akeem Mesidor is a high-motor edge rusher who had 12.5 sacks last season while playing opposite of Ruben Bain, which is no small feat. The Eagles do need defensive help after watching Jalen Phillips bounce for Carolina, and Howie Roseman has a long history of drafting the best player available. However, Akeem Mesidor comes with a lot of question marks. He's 25, which is not Unk status. Leave me alone. He's apparently not the most physically imposing prospect. He has a handful of medical red flags. That said, the tape is there, and he is a technically sound pass rushing prospect. And getting a player like Akeem Mesidor would help the Eagles recover from their offseason losses. With the 24th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns will select Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle, Utah. The Browns need an awful lot of offensive line help, and really just a lot of offensive help in general. If they really do have an unprecedented 3 first-round picks, they could get Caden Proctor at 12, and the guy who played opposite Spencer Fano in college, Caleb Lomu. Caleb Lomu has been getting a lot of first-round buzz of late, particularly as a first-team All-Big 12 member. He didn't give up a single sack last year, which is the most glamorous stat any college prospect can have. Now I'm gonna do a little 2-for-1 here, because I'm drafting them to these teams for the same reason. With the 25th and 26th picked in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears and Buffalo Bills, respectively, will select Caden McDonald, defensive tackle, Ohio State, and Kristen Miller, defensive tackle, Georgia. 2 teams that struggle to stop the run? Why not give them 2 of the better run-defending defensive tackles in the draft? I have McDonald going to the Bears and Miller going to the Bills. With the 27th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers will select Malachi Lawrence, edge rusher, Central Florida. The 49ers defense was entirely too banged up last season. With Nick Bosa and Mykel Williams coming off of major ACL injuries, I have them getting insurance here. Last season, the 49ers had 20 quarterback sacks, which was far and away the fewest in the NFL. Largely due to the injuries, they just couldn't stop suffering. Malachi Lawrence has been getting a lot of first-round buzz of late, and I'm all in on the 49ers getting pass rushing help. I'm also going to take the high road and avoid an electrical substation joke. With the 28th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans will select Blake Miller, offensive tackle, Clemson. CJ Stroud went from being a rookie of the year to being in a make-or-break season faster than you can say Sauce Gardner. He will get healthy receivers again next season with Tank Dell and Nico Collins coming back fully healthy, but he badly needs pass protection, and like in the worst way possible. The general consensus on Blake Miller is that he's a good tackle overall and a solid athlete, but he could stand to have some refined technique and footwork. And unlike some Clemson left tackles, he doesn't have any character issues. Protect CJ Stroud at all costs. With the 29th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs will select Avion Terrell, cornerback, Clemson. The younger brother of AJ Terrell could fit in nicely in Kansas City. He's an exceptional athlete who is fast, agile, and physical. He plays basically like he has small man syndrome, and that's because he does. He's not that big. He is a slightly undersized cornerback at 5'12 and 185 pounds, but there's no reason why Steve Spagnuolo couldn't figure out how to utilize him right away. He's good in man coverage, he's good in zone coverage, and he can be a safe player to start right away as the Chiefs move on from Trent McDuffie. With the 30th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins will select Casey Concepcion, Wide receiver, Texas A&M. The self-proclaimed best receiver of the 2026 draft class is none other than Texas A&M's own Casey Concepcion. For what it's worth, he didn't try to seduce a reporter while comparing himself to Amon-Ra St. Brown, so at least that's something. One look at his article in the Players Tribune and he'll immediately be your draft crush. He deals with the stutter to this day, and he had a rough upbringing as his dad was in and out of jail. He overcame all of that to be a player with strong route running ability, great hands, and legitimate first-round draft aspirations. He can start on day one in a receiver room where I realistically could be a wide receiver 3. I mean, have you seen these things? They're huge. With the 31st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Max Ihanachor, offensive tackle, Arizona State. The Arizona State product is yet another boomer bust prospect. He's an insane athlete, but his technique needs a lot of work, which makes me think the Bengals want to draft him as an edge rusher. Mike Vrabel worked so closely with Max Ihanachor at his pro day that he too now smells like Diana Rossini. The Patriots need offensive line help, and he has potential to go even higher than this. But for now, I have him as a bona fide first-round pick who at the lowest goes 31 to the Patriots. And with the 32nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks will select Colton Hood, cornerback, Tennessee. Yes, I have Jermod McCoy out of the first round entirely. His ACL is and I don't think a lot of teams are going to want to take a first round flyer on that. It's all about risk versus reward. Colton Hood spoke extremely highly of the Seahawks, and honestly, they're on top of the football world, so wouldn't you? This is where I have Colton Hood, and this is where I have my round 1 mock draft ending, as if it matters. I'm just a guy. So there you go, folks, another round 1 mock draft in the books. There could be a lot of trade ups and trade downs in round 1s, which makes this mock draft all for naught. Who do you want your team to take? Who did your team take, and are you thrilled? Sound off in the comments below. But for now, stay tuned for more sports content that you didn't ask for.